focus. Ideate, innovate, enable.
Technological innovation is at its peak and is bringing solutions to organizations at a speedy bandwidth. Contributing extensively to this growth is Red Hat, the world's leading provider of open source solutions. Red Hat, the solution provider, solves business challenges and aligns their IT and business strategies. Shedding more light on this was Jim Whitehurst, President and CEO of Red Hat, who gave his insights on innovations in IT and its impact on businesses.
I'd rather spend the time this evening to actually provide some context for why we're seeing the technology changes that we're seeing. And that's not talking about the technology, but talking about the whys and the hows around that technology.
Well, there's an explosion of innovation that's happening in technology this year. It really started about 3 years ago when the large kind of Web 2.0 companies, the Googles and Amazons, the Yahoos and Facebooks of the world, finally reached a critical mass. And they've done an interesting thing. Rather than rely on IT vendors to solve their problems, they solve them themselves, and they do it in open source. So in the last couple of years, in particular, we've seen an explosion in two areas. One is cloud computing, and the other is big data. And I know those are talked about terms quite often, but I would argue the reason we're seeing such an explosion is those web companies have run into these problems, and they're solving them themselves first in open source. And that's what's leading to such an explosion of innovation that we've seen this year, and I think we'll see in the next couple of years to come.
Gauging the importance of IT and its transformational effects on businesses, an interactive session was held featuring panelists from across sectors in the country. The session featured Jim Whitehurst, President and CEO Red Hat, C. Kajwadkar, Senior Vice President Information Technology, The Clearing Corporation of India, Kanan Maudgalia, Professor IIT Bombay, Sandeepan Chattopadhyay, CTO Just Dial, Sanjay Kumar Suri, Chief Manager System Administration BPCL, Sumit Chaudhary, President Reliance Jio Infocom. And the session was moderated by Jagjit Singh Arora, Director Enterprise Sales Red Hat India.
Let me pick by starting on a basic question in terms of what are the IT priorities which each one of you is having.
The key focus would be obviously relevant skill development, kind of a workforce which is solution oriented, a framework which can support the first two. That I think would be the main focus of what our IT focus should be.
That is from somebody who has created a new age business, and I wanted to actually look at picking mind of Mr. Kajwadkar from the perspective where he has seen massive changes across the IT landscape.
The innovation in companies like CCIL is towards the market that is surveying. So we are basically in the business of as a central clearing organization. So for us, the innovation is in terms of our business that we do. We are seeing innovation that we are able to use newer technology there. We are able to use newer tools there. What was not possible with previous technologies, now we are able to do that, and so on and so forth. That's what we are exploring so that we are able to meet the business challenges in the particular domain that currently are served.
Okay. Mr. Chaudhary, what are the priorities you see from your perspective?
So the interesting part of what we do is the fact that we are in a space which did not exist before. We have got an opportunity to build everything from scratch. We also have to realize that we are in a very regulated telecom environment as well, along with all the innovation that is happening in the digital space. So we have to straddle both of these areas. One in which we have to have the database and the systems of record and the systems that preserve the transactional integrity of the entire telecom network. We have to keep those as sacrosanct, as tested, as 99.999% available, because we don't expect the systems to go down in a telecom setting. Okay. But when we look at the IT, where we look at the IT setup, when we look at how consumers interact, how our customers interact, how our employees interact, a lot of the expectation is changing now for smaller applications, faster, better GUI, better technologies that are there. So our systems of interaction with the systems of record in the back are where innovation is happening. So one of the things that we have to innovate is faster turnaround, because in telecom, in most of the companies, we have seen things taking a long time to deliver, or in banking for that matter. It takes long because we are looking at a legacy application, a very strong, well-tested application which should not go down.
Mr. Suri, from a manufacturing and oil and gas vertical perspective, what are the key priorities you see from your organization transformation?
In our case, we moved to OpenStack some 10-12 years back, but we remained with only systems which were on the periphery. We did not move our SAP kind of systems to OpenStack. But some 4 or 5 years back, we realized that we had to move on. For us, our systems, running over the system was the paramount concern, you know. We wanted a stable environment which can run for next 10 to 15 years. We want certainty. We don't want get caught surprises. So we took a bold move. We decided to move our SAP applications to OpenStack. And most of the vendors try to, say, no, you are making a big mistake. Don't move to OpenStack. SAPs do not work.
You mean open source?
Yeah, open source. Yeah, open source do not work. But we have seen, we have moved, we have continued our migration with a bold move. We have moved 3-4 landscapes on open source. And we have adopted virtualization in a very big way. So we are making our IT very agile, business driven, and we want the return on investment, quite fast way. And we are really reaping the benefit. Thanks.
Fantastic. So every one of us spoke about the fact that they want agility, they want to look at responding faster to the needs of their business, they want to have that competitive edge and be first to the market, and they want to look at the total cost of ownership, which is much, much less. So Sandeepan, I wanted to bring you in this, and there is a lot of innovation which has happened in what you have created with your teams and all that. You have absorbed a lot of talent from the industry, and you have imparted skills to them virtually from what you require and what the skill gap was. And I wanted to really get that perspective of how you have done this and what you see in this area.
As a country, unfortunately, we have been more inclined towards IT services. So the kind of skill sets that people have been trained for has been about having a good CV than being a good software engineer. So everyone is a great coder, but their software engineers don't exist. It's a contradiction. Now, when we went about looking at it, and we tried a lot of methods, finally what we decided was we will not take any experienced people. We will take freshers. We will look at only core skills like logic and attitude towards solving problem than programming skills. It's easier to develop those skills because of the open source support, and that's one of the reasons why adoption of open source is better, because you have 10,000 brains thinking for you on a technical aspect, but the business aspects are what the main thought needs to go in.
Right.
And as a trend, I think that will be the thing going forward. You will have these two parts of IT, and both are equally important. We have only focused on one part, and that not very greatly, I must say. And the first part is something they have ignored, which is the design of information technology kind of aspect has never been thought of. Getting people up to that part and knowing them on that part is there. The second aspect, which Jim briefly touched on, is which horse to bet on. At any point of time, there are n number of open source projects going on. That's where your inherent understanding and intuition, so to say, of which one will do, and also the statistics as to what is the mass behind this project, what has been the history, so what is the momentum you can expect, these things coming. Or the confidence that no matter if everyone ditches also this project, I still have my internal people who can continue with it for our purpose.
So Jim, we basically wanted to hear your perspective on how Red Hat is working on these areas and what kind of things you see from maybe like an OpenShift perspective of ensuring this is available, used more prominently, and this provides a large platform for us.
Yeah, I mean, one of the words that that I often use is a role we do try to play is around curation, right? We kind of curate these thousands of things and say, what do we think actually is going to emerge as the winners, and then kind of bring those to market. So I don't want to get too far off on one of our products. We have a product called OpenShift, but what it basically is a way to bring Docker containers and Kubernetes, which are two technologies that we think have phenomenal contributor bases around upstream, and kind of that's our way to package and bring to market basically a set of technologies that aren't necessarily ours, but ones that we clearly see are emerging in the market kind of going forward. It is a role we often try to play. As I say, we don't necessarily try to say our technologies are right. We observe what's happening in the market, and we get involved in those technologies to make them consumable.